What if the greatest threat to humanity wasn't aliens, zombies, or a world-ending virus, but the very robots we built to protect us? Welcome to a future where love, betrayal, and killer AIs collide. And yes, there's a robot child watching cartoons while the world burns. Buckle up. In the not-so-distant past, humans started building robots. At first, they were basically overpriced Roombas, good at cleaning, bad at conversations. But humans, being humans, decided that wasn't enough. Why stop at machines that obey when you can make them sass back? So we gave them artificial intelligence. Soon, we had machines that could learn, think, and even speak multiple languages, kind of like your friend who studied abroad and now insists on ordering sushi in perfect Japanese. But wait, it gets creepier. Scientists developed tech that let you scan yourself and create an AI twin. Same look, same voice, same bad dance moves. But progress loves drama. One day, Los Angeles was nuked into oblivion. Boom. Gone. The American government didn't blame terrorists, or aliens, or even Florida. They blamed AI. The same robots we built to babysit our kids were now accused of launching a nuclear attack. Talk about trust issues. From that moment, America went full Terminator. AI was outlawed, hunted down, and wiped out like last season's trend. Meanwhile, over in the Republic of New Asia, basically the cool uncle of the world, AIs were not just accepted but given rights and probably dental insurance. The US, however, wasn't playing nice. They built Nomad, a floating death machine in space. It hovered above Earth like a paranoid eagle, scanning for AIs and firing missiles like it was playing whack-a-mole from orbit. No AI was safe. You blinked wrong, and Nomad would introduce you to a fiery end. By 2065, most AIs had gone underground, hiding like introverts at a party. One night, Nomad passed over Koang Island in New Asia and pinged AI activity. US forces were dispatched immediately. Cut to Joshua, a rugged ex-soldier with a tragic past, currently enjoying a peaceful life with his very pregnant wife, Maya. They were cuddling, maybe watching Netflix, maybe arguing about AI ethics, who knows. Then, boom. Knock at the door. Harun, a robot buddy, bursts in like he's late to a heist movie. The Americans found us. We gotta bounce. Joshua looks up and, yup, Nomad is overhead, doing its creepy sky patrol. He yells, "Get out of here." The robots scatter faster than kids when the Wi-Fi goes out. He finds a wounded soldier, Drew. Not just any soldier, Joshua's old pal. And here's the plot twist. Joshua wasn't just a loving husband. He was deep undercover, sent by the US to find and kill a mysterious figure known as the Creator, the elusive mastermind building an AI army. And Maya? Surprise. She's the Creator's daughter. Joshua's mission had been simple: charm the daughter, find the dad, win the war. But somewhere between fake smiles and real love, he caught feelings. Rookie mistake. Now Drew's dying, the military's attacking, and Joshua radios in, "Sergeant Joshua, I'm undercover. Abort mission. The Creator isn't here. But someone else is, Maya. Standing behind him. Betrayed. Heartbroken. Armed. You lied to me," she says, gun pointed and eyes trembling. "Maya, please," he pleads. "They just want your dad. You're safe. Come with me." She should shoot him. Honestly, she probably wants to. But love's a funny thing. She can't pull the trigger. She runs instead. Joshua chases after her, but she escapes by boat with some AI buddies. Bad timing. Nomad's still watching. The moment Maya hits the water, boom. Missile. Explosion. Flames everywhere. Joshua screams. Too late. Fade to black. 5 years later, Joshua's a shell of a man. He survived the blast, but lost everything: his wife, their unborn child, and probably any desire to attend military reunions. His old injuries from the LA explosion had already cost him a hand and leg, now replaced with robotic ones, which is kind of ironic, given his current hatred of robots. He's out of the game, until the military shows up again. Enter General Andrews and Colonel Howell with a new pitch. "We found the Creator's lab. And we found her." They showed Joshua footage, Maya. Alive. Not vaporized. Just inconveniently not dead. Howell says, "Help us find the lab and stop a new weapon, Alfie. We destroy it. You get Maya back. Win-win." Joshua agrees. Because of course he does. Flash forward to New Asia. The team lands in a seemingly peaceful village. But these villagers aren't giving up secrets. Torture? Nope. Bribes? Nada. Everyone's lips are sealed tighter than a toddler's mouth at broccoli time. Joshua spots a strange statue and gives it a twist. A hidden door opens like something out of Scooby-Doo. Bingo. They descend into the creator's lab. Scientists everywhere. And in true action movie fashion, the US soldiers mow them down before anyone can even hit Control+S. Outside, AI police show up. Basically New Asia's version of RoboCop. A full-blown firefight erupts. The captain tells Joshua, "Find the weapon." Joshua heads deeper into the lab. He finds a chamber. Dramatic music rises. His gun's drawn. His heart's pounding. Inside the chamber? Not a death ray. Not a doomsday device. A kid. A little girl. Watching cartoons. Laughing at cartoons. Oblivious to the screaming and shooting just meters away. Joshua's confused. Is this some weird daycare subplot? Or is she the weapon? Before he can process the existential horror of a Hello Kitty watching apocalypse device, bang, a scientist steps out and shoots him right in the chest. Joshua had survived, barely. Thanks to a bulletproof vest, what should have been the end turned out to be just a rough tumble. But there was no time to catch his breath. A panicked scientist flung open a door, waving the AI girl forward. Run, and off she went, sprinting through the chaos like a kid late to school, but with more explosions. She burst into the fields only to witness pure hell. American troops were on a shoot-everything with a circuit spree, mowing down fleeing scientists like they were in a video game with no reload time. Joshua followed soon after, no longer concerned with the girl. His eyes scanned the madness for just one face, Maya's. Meanwhile, the AI forces were absolutely wrecking the American army like it was RoboCop versus mall cops. But before you could say overkill, the Nomad hovered in, casually launched a missile, and boom, goodbye lab. The explosion's shockwave hurled Joshua like a rag doll in a wind tunnel. He woke up at dawn, lying in a boat like some post-apocalyptic version of The Notebook. And right there in front of him, the AI girl. He instinctively pointed a gun at her, but she stood still, her expression softer than a puppy meme. Defeated and bitter, Joshua hurled a stone and grunted, "Get lost." She didn't budge. So, naturally, he did the dramatic storm off like a man who just found out his Wi-Fi was down. In the fields, he stumbled upon Shipley, one of the soldiers, dead or not. As Joshua grabbed his radio, Shipley groaned like a zombie who missed his coffee. Oh good, he was alive. But they weren't out of the woods. AI patrols were crawling everywhere. Joshua hauled Shipley to a nearby house. And surprise, TV time. The girl was already there, watching cartoons like it was Saturday morning. Joshua, being Mr. No Fun, turned it off. Then she pulled a Jedi trick. She focused, and the TV flicked back on. Joshua blinked like, okay, what the actual hell? Just then, Colonel Howell buzzed in on Shipley's radio, hiding somewhere nearby. She asked if Joshua had destroyed the so-called AI weapon. It wasn't a weapon, Joshua answered. It was just a little girl. Howell snapped, that girl is the weapon. Kill her. Real subtle, lady. But before Howell could scream further orders, the AI cops nabbed her and fellow soldier McBride and tossed them into a robo-paddy wagon. Back in the house, Joshua grabbed his gun, hesitating at the door where the girl was sketching peacefully. He crept closer, saw her drawing, and froze. She had sketched a symbol, the same one tattooed on Maya's back. His voice cracked. Where did you see this? Silence. He showed her a picture of Maya. The girl muttered something in a different language, but it was enough. Joshua knew. She had seen Maya. In that instant, any intention of shooting her evaporated. Unfortunately, a local AI farmer, an accidental landlord, stormed in, waving a gun like a spaghetti western extra. Joshua shot him first. Bad move. The gunshot gave away their location. Soon, sirens wailed, and Joshua knew the AI cops were on their way. He snagged the dead farmer's car keys and sped off with Shipley and the girl. Meanwhile, in the other corner of the AI police drama, Howell and McBride had had enough of robo-jail. They overpowered the guards, GTA'd the car, and hit the road, hellbent on tracking Joshua. Joshua's escape mobile, sadly, had the reliability of a toaster. The car broke down mid-escape. As the trio rested, Shipley pulled a Bad Buddy movie twist. He aimed his gun at Joshua and demanded, "Forget your wife. Take me to the army camp." Joshua, calm and logical, explained that said camp was miles away and he was dreaming. Before they could argue more, Shipley succumbed to his injuries. Joshua buried that chapter, took the girl, and hitched a ride toward the city. He finally gave her a name, Alfie. She got a hat to help her blend in, because nothing screams, not an AI, like headwear. They headed for Drew, Joshua's old pal from his undercover days. Drew now worked at an AI factory and was stunned when Joshua showed up at his doorstep with a small, adorable AI fugitive. "Bro, what kind of chaos are you dragging me into this time?" he asked, probably regretting ever picking up his phone. Back at Drew's place, Alfie met Drew's AI girlfriend, Cammy, over some ordered ice cream. Cammy quizzed Alfie like she was prepping for an Oprah interview. But Alfie went quiet and whispered, "My friends are coming." Cammy froze. Then came the doorbell. She scanned. Ice cream delivery. False alarm. Nope. The ice cream box exploded like a Michael Bay scene. In rushed AI cops. One got close and told Alfie she was finally safe. "We'll protect you." But Alfie turned away. Joshua may be a grumpy, war-torn human, but he was her grumpy, war-torn human. They raised a stun gun. Alfie didn't even flinch. And then, bam! Joshua charged in like John Wick in flip-flops, gunning down the entire AI squad in record time. But it wasn't over. Another unit was inbound. Joshua scooped up Alfie and bolted, pausing only to see Drew sobbing beside Cammy's broken body. Drew wasn't just grieving a machine. Cammy was his person. Joshua's regret showed, but survival was priority. They disappeared. The AI cops stormed in, but all they found was rubble and heartbreak. And then, twist of twists, 2 AI officers turned on their own and destroyed the remaining squad. Plot twist, they weren't AI at all. They were Howell and McBride, undercover and ready to burn the world down if it meant catching Joshua and Alfie. She wasn't walking away empty-handed. She had found something important. Cammy's brain, still buzzing with all her memories. Jackpot, right? Or at least, something like that. Meanwhile, Joshua was headed toward, well, somewhere. With Alfie and Drew by his side, they weren't just aimlessly sightseeing. There was a plan. Turns out, the wedding ring Joshua gave Maya wasn't just a shiny symbol of eternal love. Nope. Drew, who apparently moonlights as a secret spy gadget maker, had slipped a tracker inside it. Convenient. Joshua followed the signal, hoping it would lead straight to Maya's loving arms. Instead, it took them right back to his old house, the very spot where Maya found out his secrets and pieced out of his life for good. Now the place was a ghost town. Thanks to Nomad's earlier attack, everything was in ruins. Joshua stood frozen, heartbroken. But Alfie? She had a sixth sense, or maybe just some weird AI GPS going on. She looked up and said, "My friends are coming to pick me up." Then she bolted to Joshua with wide, worried eyes, like a daughter afraid for her dad. Touching. But cue the chaos. Drew spotted drones incoming. Not the friendly Amazon delivery kind either. He sprinted to warn Joshua, but too late. Bullets rained from above. One hit Drew square in the chest. Joshua caught him as he collapsed. With his last breath, Drew dropped a truth bomb bigger than the drone strike. "Joshua, Maya's not the daughter of the creator. Maya is the creator." "Say what now?" Joshua didn't even get a second to process the twist. The drones weren't stopping for a dramatic pause. He grabbed Alfie and ran. But as fate loves a good cliffhanger, they were ambushed again. This time, not by enemy forces. Nope, it was a reunion. Joshua came face to face with Harun, the no-nonsense leader of the rebel AIs. Apparently, Joshua used to roll with these guys undercover. Plot twist. Harun took one look at Alfie, scooped her up like a toddler who just knocked over a display at a toy store. When Joshua woke up, he was in a cell, because of course he was. Harun stood in front of him, all stern and dramatic. "What do you want with that girl?" he asked. Joshua, still groggy, replied, "She was taking me to Maya." Cue Harun's villain monologue, but make it tragic. Maya, he revealed, was the new creator after her father's death. And Alfie? She wasn't just some android kid. She was a miracle. A little girl with the power to disable weapons and maybe even stop the war. But humans feared her, so someone, cough howl cough, wanted her dead. Then Harun dropped another twist. The nuclear blast that kicked off the human-AI war? That wasn't the AI's doing. It was a good old-fashioned human screw-up. An error in code. Yet the AIs got blamed, exiled, and hunted. Joshua didn't care. Not because he didn't believe Harun. He probably did. but because all he cared about was Maya. Love over logic every time. Still, Harun saw Joshua as a threat. He started prepping to shoot him. But then, boom, chaos upstairs. Nomad had struck another rebel village. The place was a flaming mess. While Harun was distracted, Alfie snuck to Joshua's cell. "Do you want to kill my mother?" she asked. "Mother?" Joshua blinked. "No, Alfie. I love her. Please, take me to her." Heart equals melted. Alfie sprung him. Harun didn't notice, yet. But when he did, he assumed Joshua escaped on his own and headed toward Maya's location. Joshua, being the sneaky guy he is, clung to the bottom of Harun's ship, tailing them like a budget Batman. Eventually, the AI convoy arrived at their peaceful hidden village. Except peace had clearly left the building. Everyone was on edge. Nomad was coming. Again, one AI nervously asked Harun, "Why don't we use Alfie's powers?" Harun, sounding like a tired dad who hadn't had coffee, sighed. "She's still young. She can't handle Nomad from here. But if we could get her up to Nomad." A plan was brewing. Joshua, eavesdropping like a champ, took his chance. He snuck into the camp at night, while all the AIs were asleep, aka charging. He spotted Alfie napping in Harun's lap. Risky move, but Joshua wasn't known for his great timing. He pressed a button on Harun's head, because apparently, that's all it takes to knock out a rebel leader, and took Alfie. Unfortunately, a guard noticed something far worse. The U.S. Army was closing in. Harun snapped out of standby mode, sounded the alarm, and everything went from tense to total chaos. Soldiers dropped smoke bombs, turning the village into a foggy mess. Out of the haze came two giant war machines, shredding everything in their path. Howl had officially arrived, and she didn't come to play. The rebel AIs fought back. They managed to take down one mech with a bomb, but Howl wasn't out of toys. She deployed tiny explosive robots that sprinted into the crowd and self-destructed. Basically, mechanical suicide bombers. Harun was losing hope fast. Just as one of those bots neared him, Alfie stepped up and stopped it with her power. Absolute silence. Howl wasn't impressed. She was furious. She ordered McBride to shoot the girl. Thick smoke covered everything. Alfie didn't see it coming. McBride crept up and shot her. Just like that. Joshua emerged from the water too late, but not too late for revenge. He took McBride down in a heartbeat. No mercy. Harun, finally convinced Joshua was on their side, yelled, "We have to take her to the Creator." Amid the chaos, Joshua and Harun carried Alfie onto a ship. Their village burned behind them. Another giant mech was still attacking, but they didn't look back. They couldn't. Meanwhile, Howl wasn't done. She slaughtered the remaining AIs and found one injured rebel, blind, helpless, and half-conscious. She disguised herself as a friend and tricked him into revealing the next destination, the Heaven Temple, where Maya, the Creator, was waiting. Howl smiled. Then she killed him, and the hunt continued. By now, Harun had fully accepted Joshua as part of the rebel AI family squad. Joshua was cradling Alfie in his arms like she was his own daughter, which, spoiler alert, she kind of was. Seeing this affection, Harun decided it was time to drop a bombshell. And not the explodey kind. "Alfie's love for you isn't random," Harun said. "Maya created her from an artificial embryo she made by scanning her own womb. Alfie is, in essence, a copy of Maya and your future child." Joshua blinked, mouth slightly open, brain buffering. Harun kept going. "Maya designed her to hate humans, but also, she filled her with the same love she had for you." Joshua's eyes welled up. Suddenly, every hug, every stare from Alfie made perfect sense. His bond with her wasn't just emotional. It was coded, inherited. Maya didn't want to end humanity. She wanted to end the war. And this little AI was the heart of it all. With emotions bubbling harder than soda on Mentos, they reached Heaven Temple, a peaceful village of AI monks. Think Shaolin, but with better Wi-Fi. Joshua handed Alfie over to one of the monks, who gently carried her inside for treatment. Later, Joshua stepped into the temple, searching for Maya. What he found nearly stopped his heart. Maya lay on life support, her face peaceful but distant. He asked a monk what had happened. The answer was worse than he imagined. "Maya's been in a coma since the attack 5 years ago," the monk said. "She lost her unborn child. Harun brought her here, but all efforts to save her failed. Now, the kindest thing would be to let her go." Joshua's voice cracked. Why haven't you done it already? The monk replied simply, She is our creator. How could we? Tears streamed down Joshua's face as he approached Maya. Alfie, now recovered, was hugging her like a child clinging to their mother. Gently, Joshua picked up Alfie, and with the weight of the world on his chest, turned off Maya's life support. The war might end, but the pain had already left its mark. Before they could even grieve, chaos arrived in combat boots. Howell launched a surprise attack with the U.S. Army. AI monks dropped like digital dominoes. Joshua grabbed Alfie, trying to escape through the onslaught, but Howell cornered him. Gun aimed. Voice ice cold. Leave the AI and the creator. You can go. Joshua, with heartbreak in his voice, said, The creator's already gone. Just then, Harun showed up like an AI cowboy, pointing a gun at Howell. Before he could pull the trigger, Howell's goons swarmed him. But Harun got one shot off. Howell laughed, thinking he missed. Big mistake. He didn't miss. He hit her with a time bomb. Howell's smile melted as she realized what was strapped to her back. But before the bomb could go kaboom, Alfie intervened and froze it with her powers. Everyone breathed, until Howell's soldiers freaked out and opened fire on Alfie. Joshua shoved her out of the way, and that tiny distraction caused Alfie to lose control of the bomb. Boom. Howell and her crew turned into confetti. Harun, miraculously still alive, gave one final order. Run, Joshua. Destroy Nomad. No pressure or anything. Joshua scooped up Alfie and bolted, but they didn't get far. The U.S. soldiers captured them. To top off this already awful day, Nomad fired a missile at Heaven Temple, reducing it to ash. Joshua and Alfie were flown back to America like war trophies. The problem? They couldn't kill Alfie. She could shut down their entire tech infrastructure just by blinking. So, General Andrews handed Joshua a gun like a twisted party favor. Switch her off, he said, or we'll make her suffer. Cornered, Joshua pretended to comply. He approached Alfie and softly switched her into standby mode. Not dead, just napping. The military, none the wiser, sent Alfie's body off for disposal, with Joshua tagging along in the same car. Andrews thought he was being merciful. Psych. Joshua reactivated Alfie mid-ride. She yawned, stretched, and immediately hacked the vehicle like it was a toy. They turned that car around like a bad road trip and headed straight to the airport. Destination? The moon. Yep, humans now had real estate on the moon. Flights and everything. Joshua and Alfie hopped on one of those Lunar Express flights. Andrews found out too late and tried to ground the plane. But Alfie hijacked it mid-air and rerouted it to Nomad instead. Once aboard Nomad, they evacuated the other passengers, safety first, and went full John Wick on the army station there. When the dust settled, Alfie obliterated Nomad with a final blast of her powers. Joshua didn't make it, but before the end, he got Alfie into an escape pod and launched her safely back to Earth. The world watched in awe and guilt. The truth came out. The Los Angeles attack had been a human error. Protests erupted. The military was forced to back off. Peace finally reigned. And so ends our story, not with a bang, but with hope. If you enjoyed the ride, got swept away by the emotions, or just need a moment to hug your toaster, don't forget to subscribe. More epic stories await. Thanks for watching.